Hi, hello and welcome from wherever you join me today. Yes, it's me again, Jim Black from the Three Hats Stage Media channel, hopefully providing entertaining content media for all the world's stages. This is a Pause for Thought edition where I review one of my favourite movies and see what messages we can take from it and how we could use those insights in today's busy lives. All the movies I review come from over the past 3 or 4 decades. They come from a book or a screenplay, have a great cast and a fantastic soundtrack. Some of the movies you may know and some you may not. Today's movie is no exception. It's the 2006 movie, Stranger Than Fiction. And as you can see from the lightbox, I didn't have all the letters because you never seem to get enough, so I've had to improvise. It's written by Zach Helm and has an all-star cast. You have Will Ferrell, who plays Harold Crick. You have Emma Thompson, who plays Karen Eiffel. Maggie Gyllehaal, who plays Ana Pascal, and Dustin Hoffman, who plays Professor Jules Hilbert. The supporting cast is good as well. You've got Queen Latifah, who plays Penny, and Tony Hale, who plays Dave. There's some good cameos in this, from Linda Hunt, Tom Hulce, and Peggy Roeder. Watch out for them if you have a look at the movie. So I ask, is it right? Should you know your little did he know? And are you ever too old for space camp? Let's get into this review and find out. This is one of my favourite movies and I have a lot. My wife will tell you she often catches me watching the same movie over and over again, and I have to say it's all in the name of research for the channel, honest. Have you ever felt your life is a story or a series of stories? Well, it is, and you write those every day, different pages. They change. They interact with other people, those you know and love, those you work with, even those that you don't know, but you come into contact with them in some way. Have you looked at other people's stories and thought, oh, I like that one better, and you want it, but would it be good for you? Who knows? Harold Crick and the characters in this movie have everyday lives like us. There's lecturers, bakers, there's auditors, there's authors, there's all sorts of people living out their lives. The only difference with Harold is he can hear his story being narrated. Nobody else can hear it, so let's see how that works in the plot. So as I said in the intro, there's 2 questions that need answering. Harold can hear his story being narrated. It's a female author, but he doesn't know her name. And that's another question that also needs answering. It tells him descriptive things, such as how many steps to the bus stop, how many times he brushes his teeth, and how many times he ties his tie. It narrates all the interesting details about his life, but it also narrates his thoughts. It says that he thinks of deep and endless oceans, and Harold actually does think of deep and endless oceans. One day, while he's waiting at the side of the road for the bus with a group of people, the voice starts again. It tells him that the simple, seemingly innocuous act would lead to his imminent death. And that's because his watch has just stopped and he's reset the time. Obviously that upsets Harold, and now he must find out what his imminent death's going to be and why is it going to be. He enlists the help of Professor Jules Hilbert. He's a literary specialist and he works at the local university, and it's something that he thinks that he'll be able to help him with. He visits him and there's some interesting conversations. He doesn't think that he's going to help him until Harold tells him about the Little Did He Know. Well, Professor Hilbert is a world authority on Little Did He Know. He's taught seminars on it. He's given lessons on it. He's written papers on it. If there's anything about Little Did He Know that he doesn't know, then there's something wrong. Anyway, he asks Harold to come back, another meeting, and he devised 23 questions, which end up being one of the greatest scenes of the movie. It's a one-on-one. It's 2 ways. One person says something, the other person repeats it. This is 2 great comedy actors at their best. I don't know how they held it together. Some of the lines in it are Are you a king of anything? A king of anything, Harold says. Yes, king of something. King of the lanes, king of the trolls, king of a clandestine land beneath your floorboards. No, Harold says. I'm only trying to find out what story you're a part of, says Professor Hilbert. Anyway, it's a lot funnier in the movie, I can assure you. Harold is told to go and try and find out what story he might be a part of. Professor Hilbert's questions were designed to try and work out what he wasn't a part of, but we still need to know what it was he is in. So Harold sets about his daily life as an auditor and tries to discover it. This is where he meets Ana Pascal. She owns a bakery, and it's a cafe, and it serves muffins, cookies, hot drinks and such things. She's withheld some of her taxes from the US government, and it's Harold's job as an IRS agent to go and find out why she's not paid, and has she not paid any more. There's some great lines between these two. Harold at one point asks Anna if she's a part of an anarchist group. She says, "Am I a part of an anarchist group?" "Yes. Do you meet? Do you assemble?" "Do you mean anarchists meet and assemble? Doesn't that defeat the object?" she says. And again, I've not done that very good. So watch the movie, just for that alone. After the audit, Harold goes back to see Professor Hilbert. He tells him he's a part of a tragedy, which is sad. Professor Hilbert tells him that he needs to try and make the story happen. So the best thing to do is nothing. So Harold takes the day off and stays at home to try and move the story on. Of course, the author is still trying to write the story for Harold. So she must force it to change because Harold is not doing anything. She does, and he goes back to see Professor Hilbert, who tells him that there's nothing else he can do. So the best thing he can do is live his life. Just get on with it. Do the things he wants to do. He takes some holiday from work. He moves in with his friend Dave. And this is another great scene. At the dinner table, Harold says, "Dave, what would you do if you knew you were going to die?" "That's easy. I'd go to space camp." Harold says, "Aren't you too old to go to space camp?" Dave says, "You're never too old to go to space camp, dude." So he buys a guitar. He learns to play. He goes for walks, whatever he wants. He thinks about things he wants to think about. But one night, his watch decides that Harold needs to do something else. So it makes a lot of funny noises, and Harold then rushes off to see Ana Pascal. He takes her some flowers. They go back to her apartment. She makes him dinner, and they fall in love. He plays the guitar that's in her apartment and has a great rendition of The Whole Wide World, which is originally done by Reckless Eric. After this, things move on very quickly. He tracks down Karen Eiffel, who's writing the story. He asks her not to kill him. But, the spoiler alert are coming. I don't want to tell you what happens. So let's just say that lots of different things happen. It's all a happy ending, but as usual, it's the start of something new. What we all need to remember is those questions. Should you know your little did he know? And if you did, what would you do about it? Would you try and change it? The other question is, are you ever too old to go to space camp? Well, no. What is your space camp? It doesn't have to be space camp, it can be anything. So live your life. Be the best you can at what you want to be. If you want to learn to play guitar, like me, then do it. We all know sort of where we're heading. We can't change what's going to happen right at the end, but we can live the best life with the stories we're all writing. So go out and do it. There's some great trivia attached to this movie. The four main characters, Eiffel, Hilbert, Pascal and Crick, are all related to science in some way. Yes, Francis Crick discovered DNA. Another part of the movie, where Harold gets off the bus too early after meeting Anna on it, the bus stops at Drury Lane. And as we all know from the nursery rhyme, do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man, the Muffin Man. Yeah, because he lives down Drury Lane and he makes muffins. Ooh, Ana Pascal makes muffins in her little cafe. And did you also know that Space Camp actually exists, if any of you wanted to ever go there? And you're never too old. The music in this movie is great too. As I said, Reckless Eric sings The Whole Wide World, you've got That's Entertainment by The Jam, and you've got The Book I Write by Spoon, who plays out the movie at the end. There's other tracks in the movie, and I suggest that you look at the soundtrack to get a full flavour of it. If you want to know where my thoughts and inspirations come from, I've left some links in the bio below. Click on them, take a closer look. If you want to be a part of our community, then subscribe. And if you want to know when we upload the next one, please hit the notification bell. Comments are always welcome, and I'll do my best to get back to them as and when I can. I've been Jim Black for the Three Hats Stage Media channel for Pause for Thought. Hope to see you very soon.